Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Anchua. Going by the theme I have picked for myself for the month of December, that is going to be the top 10s, the worst of this, the best of that, the top 10 of this, the top 10 of that. No, those kind of ranking and rating lists. I'm coming with you today with a list from Lattafa. As of today, the 3rd of December 2024, Lattafa has released 39 fragrances, including one that they have silently released known as Mashubaya. I'll put it on the screen. I don't think they made any buzz on it, but it's been listed on their Lattafa USA website as being inspired by, it's even on Fragrantica, known to be inspired by Smoking Hot by Killian. I don't know when it was released, but it's been like silently launched on their Lattafa USA website in case you are interested. That makes it a total of 39 releases so far. I'm sure there will be a few others before the end of the year. However, I've been able to get 20 of these 30 out of these 39 releases by the house Lattafa. Out of these 20 fragrances I have got out of the 39, these are going to be the best according to my nose. And I'm not ranking them. I think I will do my top 10 Lattafa for 2024 maybe in subsequent videos, but these are going to be the best releases that I have in my collection so far. And the first one I have is going to be Angham from the house Lattafa. This is amazing. I don't think I have to say a lot of this. Point blank, one of the best to come out from the house Lattafa for 2024. There's been several numerous releases. Some of them really didn't hit the mark. Some of them were lukewarm. Some of them, to me, made my worst list. But when it comes to Angham, I think it's been a hit among a lot of people, especially women. A lot of people seem to love the original, Burberry Goddess, but for the price, around $168 or $170 compared to this, which is going for around $35. I think this has been a good addition to a lot of our fragrance wardrobe. I think Lattafa did a phenomenal job when it came to Angham, releasing it at the right time, because now everybody's doing gourmand, and as much as a lot of people are doing gourmands, a lot of people are also getting away from the whole gourmand face. But this is a very beautiful balance between gourmand and actual perfume itself. It's vanilla and then lavender, some floral, some woods. It's beautiful. It's not super ultra feminine. It's like a blend of both worlds. It gives you something unisex forward, and I think Angham is a very beautiful one. If I should do my top 10 Lattafas for 2024, I think Angham is going to make the list. The next fragrance on this list is going to be one of the latest releases, Teriaq Intense. In as much as I did not enjoy, or I don't enjoy the OG Teriaq, I've always said that it's never going to be my top 10 Lattafa. This, I'm still not sure if it's going to be my top 10 Lattafa, but I much prefer this over the original, Teriaq. This has been a good addition to my collection. I love how versatile this one is, although it leans slightly masculine to me, a very unisex but masculine leaning to my opinion, in my opinion, because of that fresh bergamot, nuance it has, coupled with that heavy plum liqueur. It gives me more of a masculine vibe, although very unisex in my opinion. This, I think, is a contender to be part of my top 10 Lattafa releases for the year 2024. This is a good one. I really prefer this with the sweetness of the plum, that boozy vibe. It has something that gives me a bit of a vanilla vibe, although the fragrance by itself doesn't have the note of vanilla. It is a sweet, boozy, spicy, fresh, fragrance by itself, and I think this is a good one. Another one I consider one of the best releases from the house Lattafa is going to be Sehr, the almonds, the tonka, the vanilla. This is a heavy, rich, resonant, decadent vanilla scent with the rich, thick almonds, and like an unsweetened almond. It's a very beautiful, decadent scent. It gives me a sweet-like accord at a dry down. It was quite a difficult one to describe when this one was really was launched, like newly launched. Their reviews were all over the place, with everybody giving their, totally different opinion, going different direction. However, the underlying thing about this is that it's a lot of people's favorite, and so is mine. I love how the vanilla is done here. It is not your typical foodie gourmand one. It's a vanilla with the richness. It's, you know, with the character, it gives you something like a suede like accord. It sort of gives you a bit of a baby cat, you know, baby cat with a cat, Naya Queen-esque at the very deep dry down. After like the 8-9 hours of wearing this, you begin to get that. But I wouldn't say it is inspired by baby cats. I think it is a different, you know, fragrance altogether, with a heavy presence of the vanilla and then the almonds, and then a rich resonant amber nuance to it. Sehr has been phenomenal. I find it quite, not quite, I find it very sexy and addictive, you know, and decadent. It's like fake, rich, intense, super unisex in my opinion, and I think it's one of the best releases by the house Lattafa. Coupled with this bottle, I love the bottle of Sehr, and I like the fact that the cap is like metal. It's not plastic, you know, the cap is metal, and I like how heavy it is, giving it more of, you know, a rich vibe, you know, when it comes to the packaging and the fragrance itself. So I think overall Sehr is a 10/10 with the package, the fragrance, the price. Even, you know, at the time it came out, I didn't have any issue with it because it's, you know, it's delivered. It didn't fall short of my expectations. So Sehr to me is a good, you know, release by the house of Lattafa for the year 2024. I'm going to go with the recent one. I've not been able to give any review about this, but I think this one deserves to be on the best list when it comes to Lattafa fragrances, and this is going to be Noble Blush. I love how this is. It reminds me of so many fragrances, you know. Most predominantly is going to be, you know, Bayan Ashra. It gives me Bayan Ashra, not necessarily guidance. You know, Bayan Ashra is like a lesser intense or a less intense version of guidance. So it gives me a bit of Bayan Ashra with some milky, you know, and a lot more potent jammy sort of, you know, rose, like a jammy rose milk. It says it has rose milk, you know, so it's a bit of a jammy rose milk to me. And then that's, you know, Bayan Ashra vibe. This, however, also reminds me of something I don't think anybody has made reference to my nose. When I smell this, it gives me vanilla toffee vibes, you know, the one from Swiss Arabia. It gives me that vanilla toffee vibes. I don't know if anybody can relate to that, but it gives me that, coupled with the Bayan Ashra DNA, and, you know, a jammy sort of rose and a milkiness to it. It's not a very photorealistic milky scent, but it's a milky or lactonic nuance to this, and it's very beautiful. I think Lattafa did a good one with this, you know. The opening or the beginning, not so good, you know, but it's been over almost like about a week and a half or 2 weeks now, and I appreciate it a lot more. So this is going to be one I would highly recommend, you know, but you need to wait on it for it to macerate a bit before you can really appreciate it. So Noble Blush, yes, I think it's a good one. The next one I believe has been a phenomenal release. Is going to be from the, I think this is from the Niche Emirati line. Yes, Jawhara by Lattafa from the Niche Emirati line. I really looked forward to this. I was actually looking for this fragrance for the longest time in Ghana. I couldn't find this, you know, for a very long time. And the few ones that I found, the prices were cutthroat. It was like cutthroat, you know. I didn't want to pick them up for that price, but eventually got one, you know, and for a reasonable price. Even it's still not the most affordable on, you know, Lattafa's website and other sites. It's still not the most affordable. It's a good one. This is going to be your gourmand with what I perceive as almond. It says it has some plum. I'm not getting that plum, you know, but it gives me a more almondy, biscuity vibe, like I always refer to it, and I will always refer to, you know. Probably I'm the only one getting that, but I do get that. And it's a very beautiful, realistic gourmand without being too foodie, you know, to my nose. This is a very feminine. It gives me like a very ultra feminine, that sort of, you know, you know, people said it and it stuck to my head, you know, like the biscuity nuance, and I really get that. It's like biscuits with some almond milk, you know, like an almond milk biscuit without note of plum. I get it now, you know. So I think it's a very beautiful one. It sort of gives me veau patisserie vibes. It's very similar to that in my nose, but that takes a more milky direction, whereas this one takes a more biscuity direction, if it makes any sense, you know. So Jawhara to me is a very complex yet beautiful gourmand scent without being a little too foodie or a little too much. So yes, I think this is a very beautiful one. The next one I think I'm going to put it on this list, although I don't own a bottle. I've tried this fragrance several. It's going to be Aldana, also from the niche Emirati line. That is going to be your Nishane Hasivat. A lot of the things which preceded Aldana, like the Kaida Fasan, the Rave Nouns, which were marketed as Hasivat, has nothing to do with Hasivat, in my opinion. But Aldana has really nailed the DNA or the scent profile of Hasivat, and I would highly recommend that, So I think it's one of the best releases from the niche Emirati line for the year 2024. I'm going to go with Emeer from the house Lattafa. Everything is from the house Lattafa on this list, but this is Emeer, and this is going to be your Clive Christian Town and Country. I have no idea how that smells. I don't think I've come across that, but apparently this is inspired by Town and Country. It is marketed towards men for the most part. This is going to be your fresh citrus with the bergamot and a green lime, nuance, and some woods and some, I think, lavender, if I'm not mistaken, and some powderiness. To me, it is a woody, spicy, citrusy, musky, powdery fragrance, marketed like to men. I would rather I prefer to smell this on men than on myself, although I generally like the scent profile, but I think it's more of that, barber shop scent that you normally associate with like men, more specifically men in their mid-30s, early 40s, like cultured, well-groomed men. That is the vibe that this one gives me, like cultured and well-groomed men. It doesn't give me, young, like the Dior Sauvage vibes. It doesn't give me young, playful, player, that kind of vibe. It doesn't give me that. It's more about sorry, it's more about a grown, sophisticated, cultured man vibes that this one gives me for the most part, and I think this is phenomenal. So Emeer from the house of Lattafa, I would highly recommend. The next one on this list is going to be one that I think if you are a lover of milk, you're going to absolutely enjoy this, and I think this is one of the best to come out from the house Lattafa 1424. Hair Confessions. I understand his confession is also a good one. After Celine, Celine from which house? I'll put it somewhere, but this is a very beautiful interpretation of Bianco Latte. I think Lattafa has done, a good job with their own, not their, it doesn't have any traits of their own, just that it's not, giving me that richness, that intense milk, of the OG Bianco Latte, but if you have not smelled Bianco Latte before, and you smell this, if you smell this before Bianco Latte, you would know, you immediately know that, oh, okay, it's going to give you that. But if you smell Bianco Latte before this, you would know there's a difference. I mean, there's a difference if you smell the OG before the inspiration. But if you smell the inspiration before the original one, it will immediately remind you of that. That is how I would like to interpret it. It works for me. It really works for me. It's a good interpretation of Bianco Latte, in my opinion. I think for what it's worth, the price you're paying for this scent profile is giving, it's a good one. So yes, Hair Confessions, I think it's a good release by the house of Lattafa. The next fragrance I'll add to this list is going to be the Kingdom Hair. That is going to be your peach, I think peach and then vanilla. Those are the most dominant notes you get. Some florals here and there. It's a very beautiful, ultra feminine, ladylike, I'm innocent and I'm polished and I'm cultured and I'm educated vibes. It gives me a very like a woman who knows how to carry herself, someone who is very cultured and polished. It gives me that vibe, like ultra feminine. There's nothing masculine or unisex about the Kingdom Hair, in my opinion. I think Lattafa did good when they did the Kingdom Hair, and the hymn, just to give you a his and hers and to let you know this is strictly for my women. So I think the Kingdom Hair is a very phenomenal, sweet, juicy pear, scent with that vanilla. Is been likened to I think I likened it to Kayali. It gives me like a very similar vibes as the Wedding Silk Santa, which is also a very beautiful, pretty scent. It's like a very pretty scent, very cultured and womanly, and there's a sense of innocence associated with the kingdom hair that I love. So I think they did a good one with that. If you're on the budget, it's like very budget friendly. It's retailing for around $27-25, and you can't beat that. So I would highly recommend that. I'm going to go with Eclaire by the house Lattafa. I think Paris Corner came out with their interpretation of Bianco Latte first, and a lot of us jumped, to it, including myself. I love Eclaire. I have since, utilized my full bottle of Eclaire, not Eclaire, caramel cascade from Paris Corner, but I think Eclaire did a better job interpreting Bianco Latte with the richness of the vanilla and the, powdery, milky, musky nuances, whereas the one from Paris Corner is more on the milky and then floral nuance. That is the main difference I find between those two. Eclaire was a good release. It's been one of the best, from the Middle Eastern house. I think that is the only one I know from a Middle Eastern house. I'm sure there might be others that are on the market now, but Eclaire was what made the mark, and everybody jumped on it. And I still love my Eclaire as much as I love my caramel cascade, but I think Eclaire is superior, and between those two, Lattafa did a better job than Paris Corner. And the last fragrance on this list is going to be Lattafa's Pink to Pink, fashioned after Oud Maracuja. I'm not sure about how the original one smells, but that is a very complex, smoky guava lychee scent with a heavy presence of oud. And I think Pink to Pink had a lot of backlash when it was released. People were like, it's very woody and smoky and rubbery. The people sort of had this rubber tie association with it. I think it's that smoky guava, thing that I perceive it more as a smoky guava, nuance than a rubbery, gasoline touch. Sometimes some of these things are what sort of ties these fragrances together and make them ultra unique, in my opinion. And I think Pink to Pink was a very good release. It's like a summer oud, a summer sort of oud, something that you can wear for your, like a refreshing guava. The guava in it feels very tart, the guava in the lychee feels tart and like biting. The realisticness of the lychee and the guava feels like super juicy. It feels like tart. It reminds me of like a very tart drink, with something different, and that is what the fragrance by itself gives me. It gives me different, it gives me unique, it gives me elevated summer. It gives me elevated summer. Sometimes the fruits can be a little boring because we always have the berries, the berries for the summer, but and the citruses. But I think Pink to Pink came at a time when personally I was expecting, I was looking for something quite unique and something different, and I think Pink to Pink delivered. So these are, I think, 11 or 12 fragrances I would consider out of my 20 purchases from the 39 released so far from the house of Lattafa. I have just 20 of them. A few of them are decants, but majority of them are like full-size bottles, and these are the ones I have in my collection, and I would say they are amazing. But these 11 or 12 are the ones that I would say are the best releases from the house of Lattafa so far for the year 2024. Let's see what the rest of the year holds, until the 1st of January 2025. I'm sure there will be a lot more, or a few more, maybe one or two more releases by Lattafa before the year closes. But basically, those are what I have for you today, and I hope this video found you well. Let me know in the comment section your best releases from Lattafa for this year so far. Let's discuss it in the comment section and let's have fun with it. So thank you so much, and I hope this video found you well. Please do not forget to give this video a thumbs up, and I hope to see you in my next one. Take care. Bye bye.